Hello and welcome to the next episode of TTG Conversations Innovator Chat. I'm Pamela Chow and today we will be speaking with Aloysius Alando. He is the Chief Executive Venues of SingX Sphere Holdings. Hello Aloysius, thank you for joining us today.
Hi, Pamela. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Great. And at SingX, when you announced Connect at Changi, you made waves around the world as the first bubble facility dedicated to business travel. So let's find out today how a venue operator pulled off this feat that may shape the way we travel for work in the new world. So Aloysius, can you please tell us about the process of, conceptualizing and launching Connect at Changi?
Well, Connect at Changi was developed from the realization that Singapore's travel and hospitality, aviation, and MICE sectors were painfully suffering since the pandemic began early last year, as we see airlines around the world suspended flights due to travel and border restrictions. Now, as time went by, it became very clear that COVID 19 was going to possibly last for years before we see some pre pandemic travel patterns return. And as we know, in pre COVID times, over 9 in 10 business travelers spend up to 5 days in Singapore. And so a vibrant and thriving Singapore is really inseparable from an open sky and open borders. And so this led us to do a brainstorming session among a few folks in the Temasek team, and to really look at an idea where we can turn Singapore Expo and Max Asia into a safe place of short stays for business executives from the world over. They can come to conduct business with their Singapore based counterparts and, more importantly, to do the face to face interactions that is so crucial in our business. And while that is important to have that business interaction face to face, we recognize that in a COVID situation, we have to do so in a contactless fashion and away from the local community. And this is to ensure that any possibility of transmission is kept to a minimum. As we know, it takes time to combat the virus, but businesses must continue unabated. So, with that, Connect Changi was born, and the consortium was formed in 2 days as partners were aligned for a common mission and recognized the urgency of the task at hand. Yeah, because it's a very novel idea. It's a first in the world. We had to do through a consortium approach, and therefore Connect at Changi is developed by a Singapore consortium led by Temasek, and it includes the Ascot Limited, Changi Airport Group, Shears Healthcare Group, SingX Sphere, and Sabana Jurong. Now, from concept to reality, it took 14 weeks of intense round the clock construction to turn an empty exhibition hall into the innovative, first of its kind bubble facility. So, we spared no effort in really making sure there is a sense of urgency in order to bring about this novel idea to fruition, and more importantly, help to jumpstart the business travel and aviation sectors of our economy.
I see. So, Singapore's government is known to be very active in industry developments, especially for such a big project like this one. So, what is SingX's working relationship with the authorities for this facility?
Well, for us, what we did with the authorities, it's really to look at how we can review the policies in order to ensure that it remains true to the safe protocols and safe management measures that we have to put in place in order to ensure the safety and hygiene factors of both travelers as well as the community here. So we looked at different policies that we have to put in place, particularly on healthcare protocols, from testing to also transporting in a bubble fashion from the airport to the facility and back again. And more importantly, during their stay here at Connect at Changi, we continue to ensure that we carried out the contactless efforts and also that for visitors that are visiting the Connect at Changi to meet up with guests, they too can be they too can have the safety and assurance that they are meeting in a safe place.
Mhm. So how did that translate, to the approval process? Was it a swift one or was it lengthy because of the details needed?
We had many weeks of conversations to see how best can we make this a reality. So it took us some time, but I think because we were committed and more importantly, we were focused on this purpose, it helped in ensuring that both parties, the government side as well as the consortium, worked hand in hand to make this a reality in 14 weeks. I think that in itself speaks volumes of the grit and the perseverance that we have to employ in order to ensure that we can get the Singapore economy open and also our links to the rest of the world restarted.
So talking about a novel concept, we understand that this facility is 72,500 square meters, is built on wheels and can be transported. So hypothetically, could it be wheeled to anywhere in Singapore? There might be a large event as long as that venue can accommodate.
Indeed, Connect at Changi uses a modular construction method, what is known as a prefabricated, pre-finished, volumetric construction. It's a mouthful of words. Just remember PPVC,
Okay.
and which means that it can be assembled and dismantled quickly within a short period of time. And as such, the facility can be repurposed in other places, such as adjacent to hotels or even to other sites in the near future. So it has that portability function, and therefore this plug and play plug and play module of Connect at Changi would therefore allow for a long-term sustainable approach.
So it's a solution that can be scaled up or rather scaled down as needed for the event.
It is actually a flex solution, but more importantly, it's also a safe solution.
Yeah.
And I think that is what we set out to do when we developed Connect at Changi.
First, want to wheel the facility back to its home base right now at Singapore Expo, which is, of course, is operated by SingX. So, how much could having a facility like Connect at Changi help your bid to host, medium and large scale events in Singapore?
Well, we certainly have an advantage given how close we are to Changi Airport, where travelers can be conveniently shuttled to and from the airport within a bubble and, of course, in a safe and contained manner. The reality is that travel restrictions and border restrictions will continue to remain as local governments continue enforcing strict safety regulations governing face-to-face interactions, all in the interest, of course, of public health. And we believe that event organizers and attendees will place a premium on venues who understand how event experiences have to evolve in this new operating environment, can demonstrate a proven experience operating safety and hygiene protocols, as well as managing hybrid events. So we had a head start with our experience as a community care facility last year in the height of the COVID situation. And in October last year, we also organized our first hybrid event, the Industrial Transformation Asia Pacific. And a month thereafter, it was followed by the Singapore FinTech Festival and Switch. And these demonstrate the hybrid capabilities as well as the safe management measures that we put in place and how we are able to integrate these two dimensions of event engagement to ensure that the safety of the visitors are there, and more importantly, that the engagement continues to be meaningful and purposeful. So our combined experience and learnings strengthened by having the meeting facility and accommodation at Connect at Changi means that event organizers and attendees can place their confidence and trust in us for piloting new and innovation experiences safely.
So now that this facility is locked and loaded, is plugged in and ready to raring to go, on a macroeconomic level, from what you are seeing, what benefits can an investment like Connect at Changi bring to Singapore?
We also know, and I think the world over wants to have physical meetings because it is important to have face-to-face interactions to grow relationships, to strengthen partnerships, and more importantly, to sign and secure those deals. Digital meetings can only go that far. The Connect at Changi is designed to meet a clear demand for inbound short stay business travel and accommodation, where business travelers can meet and conduct business with other international travelers inside this safe facility or meet with their Singapore-based counterparts. Through Connect at Changi, we are very confident it will help to reinvigorate the local aviation and the hospitality sectors, as I mentioned. Now, since its launch, we have received a steady stream of inquiries from business travelers from a range of regions from Asia to Europe and US. And just to give you an example, we had the first visitor from France, Mr. Olivier Leroux. He's the CEO and president of Oasis Smart SIM. It's a French company based in Singapore that provides cloud SIM solutions. And he was among the first to book a stay in this for Connect at Changi. And I think he stayed for about 4 to 5 days, conducted also 4 to 5 business meetings each day. And I think he was very pleased with the outcome, and he was very thankful that we had such a facility. And more importantly, he did not have to serve quarantine in Singapore. And we expect another meeting coming up soon, which is by Advanced MedTech Holdings. This is a global medical technology leader with a focus on I think urology devices and services. They will be holding their first in-person senior global leadership meeting of up to 30 business executives at the Connect at Changi. So when the Connect at Changi is fully operational, it will have the capacity or the potential capacity to host some 1,300 business travelers concurrently, engaging in various high-value business activities. Interestingly, Connect Changi is also a living laboratory. It features an array of novel COVID-19 management strategies, such as wastewater testing for early detection, rapid point-of-care tests to complement the current PCR tests, and automated contact tracing within the facility to enable rapid and precise identification of individuals. And if successful with this technology and solutions, it can be redeployed to existing facilities elsewhere in Singapore and strengthen Singapore's pandemic response.
So it sounds like it's really a multi-pronged, multi-purpose facility. We will situate, Singapore as the true meetings hub, but also in some sense a medical pioneer in this particular field.
Yeah, it's all part of the ongoing efforts, I would say collective efforts, to really help reopen Singapore's economy and establishing it as a safe, trusted, and innovative MICE destination in a COVID-safe world.
Right. So, definitely at the same time, there's also discussion about the rising risks, especially in light of the return of these large-scale events to Singapore and to the region. So what risks do you believe we might face with hosting these events? And, how could they be mitigated with or without Connect at Changi?
I think what we are learning significantly from COVID-19 is that we need to be ready. We need to be prepared for an evolving environment. For as long as the vaccination strategies have yet to be fully rolled out globally, there will always be a risk of the virus being imported to Singapore, bringing new waves of clusters, and with that comes a huge risk to public health and safety, which of course will have a knock-on effect on our economy. So we will continue to build our our repertoire of risk mitigating capabilities to make sure that we can navigate as best as we can in this uncharted territory. I think we also have to bear in mind that even with vaccination in place, right, it is not a panacea that we can go back to pre-pandemic levels, for the simple reason that the vaccination is meant to really reduce the impact of the COVID virus we be should we get infected by it, and it therefore has to be seen in conjunction with the safe management measures that are currently in place. So we have to live with this new normal.
So, talking about, the importance of preparedness and future-proofing our businesses for the long road to recovery. So I want to end off our session by peering a little bit into the future of how Connect in Singapore is actually, how SingX is actually working with the government under this initiative to bring Singapore's MICE sector back to life.
Connect at Changi is actually the first implement of the Connect at Singapore scheme. The government actually launched the Connect at Singapore scheme sometime late last year, and the whole intent is really to enable visitors, whether it's from country A to country B, going through their testing regimes in their respective markets, to come over to Singapore, meet in this travel bubble without the need to serve quarantine. So the Connect at Changi, it's really the specific implement of how Connect at Singapore works. So if the scheme changes, then we will of course readapt it and Connect Changi to support the prevailing protocols at that time.
So we're just looking at one segment of a very large umbrella of plans to come, in a way.
That's right. And as you can imagine, we have different, I would say, pathways of travel to Singapore, given the current COVID situation. We've got the green lanes. We've got also attempts at doing the travel bubbles. We also have the Connect at Singapore scheme. So I think these are various ways in order to really facilitate travel, especially business travel, right, amongst the different countries and the different economies that Singapore is connected to. And I think that is crucial because whatever effort that we embark on, big or small, it will go a long way in helping to open up Singapore in a safe and secure manner. I think through the national efforts led like by SASIOS, for instance, which has collaborated with the government on the Singapore Safe Event Standard, I think it will incorporate both these mandatory government protocols, the best practices, such as what we have gone through and what we are going through in Connect at Changi, and many others, to ensure that the safety and hygiene is placed at the core of all events in Singapore. And we hope that I think this standard will be rolled out across the whole of Singapore's MICE and events industry. And more importantly, is to give that peace of mind and give them a worryless business day as participants the world over attend trade shows, exhibitions, and meetings in Singapore.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us and in this very fruitful session. And that's all the time that we have. So thank you once again for spending time with us today, Aloysius.
It's a pleasure, Pamela, and thank you for having me.
And to our viewers out there, get in touch with us if there's an innovator you would like to see on TTG Conversations Innovator Chat. Thank you for tuning in and have a nice day.